Is that the new PS5? I'm gonna steal it.
Unfortunately, this is not going to be a victory speech, as bummed as I am to say that. I hit a couple roadblocks before. I needed to turn it in that I just could not get over in the time I had. So I just wanted to show you kind of what I've got so far with the project. It is very close, but yeah, unfortunately I just hit a couple roadblocks.
Here's the inside of my box here. As you can see, I've got my ultrasonic sensor that's placed there, just measuring to see when this box gets lifted off the ground. It's set to kind of a trigger of 25 centimeters there. I've got my motor fan that will spin and blow that glitter out of the cup once it is triggered. This servo motor here that's attached to this piece of cardboard right here, that'll go down and block that fan from blowing any more glitter out when I'm trying to turn that circuit down. As you can see, I've also got my Arduino. Unfortunately, my 9-volt battery, I could not get to work. I'm not sure if it was dead or if the connector, the adapter wasn't working, but I tried everything, it was not working, so this last resort decided to show that I do at least have something on my code. So I decided to hook that up to my laptop here. I've got the camera and that servo motor there, and when it, when that servo motor goes, it will click that button on the camera, causing them to take a picture of the pirate and get you all pulled up there. And there's all my Arduino stuff, my buzzers right there, and my IR remote sensor as well. So now if I was going to slip this off the table slightly, see that motor turns on, you start beeping, and I don't know if you saw it there, but that sensor taking pictures with that camera. So yeah, that's the circuit.
Hi, I'm Patrick Campbell. This is my video for MEGN200 Section D, the Porch Pirate project kind of takedown here. I'll go ahead and move on to my first slide. This is my flowchart, as you can see. Starts with uploading the code and then configuring the pins, kind of declaring everything. This disarm state right here, a lot of times in my code will return to that just because that's kind of where everything starts, and it's the basis where we wait to see if we receive an IR input or not, and if we do, is it the power button? If not, then we head on back. If it's the correct passcode, then we head on to the arm state. If it's not, then we head back up to the disarm state. And same with all these right here. As you can see, it's entirely possible in my code for the correct input to be entered in and the package or the code to be triggered multiple times before being disarmed again, or being turned off, that is. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I made a little bit of an edit to the code, the example code that was given to us for the IR code there. Here's my Tinkercad diagram. For the most part, I drew all the pins that are going, or all the pieces that are being called back to pins in blue, with the exception of the echo and trigger pins on my ultrasonic sensor, as you can see, I've got the fan here and our two servo motors. I don't think there's anything different in what these are offering. This one's just a little bit different color than this one, and so I thought that would differentiate because I am using two different servo motors on my Arduino project. We've got the more heavy-duty one, the 35 kilograms per meters squared per second, excuse me. And then we've got that lighter one that's going to close off the hole to that red solo cup that the glitter's sitting in. We can move on to the next slide. So this is starting off to kind of describing what my code is. I've got that ultrasonic sensor library included, the servo sensor library, the servo library and the IR remote library, as you can see right here. And I've also added in this, that's both of my servos being declared here. This is actually the first time I've ever used two servos in an Arduino code, which I thought was pretty cool. Moving on to the next slide, on to my pin declarations. excuse me, and as well as a couple variables. So we've got defining that trigger pin and the echo pin for that the ultrasonic sensor, and again that's declared here for that. I've declared the IR receiver pin to be 3. You can see I've got those other pins declared here as well, and as you can see they all match up right there. And then in the initial states and conditions, the first servo is blocking the fan no matter what, just in case that fan turns on and accidentally blows some glitter. We wouldn't want that. Servo 1 is in idle position. That's resting on the camera button. The fan motor is also idle, and the buzzer is obviously silent. Don't wanna spook the porch pirate before they take your package. And the variable toggle is set to false, and that's important because that toggle is going to tell us when exactly my code, or the trap is armed in my code, I should say. If we can move on to the IR passcode, this is all code that I found off of Canvas. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but Professor Ackerman altered it a little bit for us, so thanks to him, and I did use that in my code a couple times. Essentially, it's just I used it to differentiate the variable toggle was set to false or true, and I also changed it so even after it's set initially, you can essentially repress that IR button and get that restarted there. And after the code is entered, if the toggle is false, the buzzer kind of plays, you could describe it as like a game overtone, like something like that. And then the opposite is true. If it's true, just letting you know, essentially audibly, whether the code is on or off. The toggle variable, again, that determines if the trap is armed or not. I did mention that a little earlier. That ultrasonic sensor is set to go off once it measures a distance that's greater than 25 centimeters right there. The servo 0 moves to 100 degrees, followed by a 1 second delay so that fan can catch up. Motor pin then turns on to full blast. And then that second servo moves very slightly to press the camera button, and it holds that for 750 milliseconds before it moves back, just to make sure it does take that camera here, or excuse me, that picture. And then the alarm while loop. While the box is detected as being picked up by that ultrasonic sensor, the buzzer will keep blaring that alarm, which is just kind of on and off, a low pitch followed by a high pitch. It repeats until that box is put down, or if a button presses detect from the IR remote, it will break out of the loop. It doesn't even have to be the power button, I decided. It could be kind of like a panic button on that, in a way. And once outside the while loop, the fan shuts off, and servo 0 moves back into the closed position. And here is my snippet of the alarm code. As you can see, I've got I actually also included the code that runs if it detects the distance being greater than 25 meters, and also here a little while loop's running, just like I said. That'll just run until it decides, or excuse me, run until it decides that the package is back down, or if it receives input from the person holding the IR remote that it's no longer needed. So, yeah, that should be on my code. Thank you so much.